Hey guys, it's Dan with the Corporate Thief Beats. Got another video for you today on rap writer's block. Also, singer-songwriters writer's block. Doesn't matter, it's out there to help anyone. This is the fourth video in a series, guys, on creating rap lyrics, creating the rap song, and just general help for anyone who's stuck. This is the kind of main crux of why I created this series, plus the fact that I kind of get asked this question a lot via email or on my Facebook page on writer's block, because a lot of people are stuck. And I told you when I started this series that I still write acoustic songs. I have more of a singer-songwriter kind of vibe that I do myself, and sometimes I do get stuck too, and I have kind of created kind of systems to kind of push me towards away from that kind of writer's block kind of mentality, and I'd like to share them with you. Now, before I get into the video, I always ask you guys, don't forget to subscribe to the channel and hit the like and share the video with other people as well. So other people that are suffering from writer's rap block, or any kind of things, the tips that I've given in before on how to write a chorus, or how to create better lyrics and how to come up with lyrics, all those other videos, other people will have to find them too. So getting into today's video, writer's block, and it's a really difficult topic. It's really hard to kind of comprehend, and it can plague anyone that has started off writing rap songs, or anyone who's writing a song in the first place. So like, you have this wonderful idea in your head, and then that writer's block is starting to get at you before you can even put the pen to paper. And even like when you have heard a good beat and stuff, and you just don't even know. And a lot of times I hear that people say, oh, my life isn't interesting enough and stuff like that, and maybe I'm just not cut out to be a rap artist or a singer-songwriter. But I'm going to take you through some tips that will help you, but I just want you to get rid of that idea in the first place. If you can't write a rap song at that moment in time, just don't worry about it. What I will say to you is, what it is a great description of what Jesse Kramer said in my mixtape marketing podcast. He wrote like the Hip Hop Lyricist Guide, and really good book, check that out. But what he said is, writer's block is a disconnect from the source, and it's just a perfect way of explaining it. It's like you don't feel connected to the source material in the first place. So it could be the story, the way you're rapping, the way you flow, the beat. It could be that just disconnect from all that, and that's why you can't put pen to paper. In other words, you're suffering from writer's block, and you just want to overcome it, and you're constantly battling this in your head. And whatever you try to do, you just can't find that cure. So step one, I usually say, is pick some random words. One of the things you can do to overcome writer's block is to choose 5 random words you can think of and list these down on a piece of paper, and then try and come up with lyrics based on these words. By doing this, you're encouraging yourself to think. Picking those 5 random words does not pressure on you. It's an easy kind of task, and it just gets the creative juices flowing. And I would even go as far as writing down more things as well, even just kind of building small lists of small things. So first one is writing 5 words, next one might be 5 concepts. So find 5 concepts from songs that you love. Like I use this kind of example all the time. One of the songs that I have written that I really like, it's about a guy who's afraid to ask a girl to marry him, and I took the concept from a Reith Miller song, but that's one of my concepts. That was one of my favorite concepts, and a lot of artists kind of do this. There's nothing wrong with taking concepts and taking ideas from someone. It's not like you're stealing their song. It's like you're just, if they've created a song about something, like Biggie used to write a lot of songs that of stories that he heard on the street. They weren't really what happened to Biggie on the street, not all of them. A lot of the stuff he wrote was based on other people's stories or stories he heard on the street. So that's those kind of writing down, those creating lists. See the way, even like when I'm talking about this now, I'm kind of getting that kind of creative vibe. I'm getting into that mentality of creating content and creating ways for you to get overcome that writer's rap block that will plague you all the time. And don't stop at those two lists. If you can find other kind of, write down 5 songs that have inspired you to create rap songs in the first place. Like I just said it before with my example, Aretha Miller's song inspired me to create a song. So write down the 5 songs that have already helped you create. So this kind of list kind of thing really does get the ball going. And plus the writing down really does work. I have show notes in front of me here right now. I like to keep the conversation flowing and not be kind of too rigid, but just to keep myself on track, I use the show notes, and that's why you guys should kind of write down and create lists and create notes when you're creating your rap songs. And that was the point 1. I think that was a good point actually. I think the concepts kind of part is something that you should really think about, and writing stuff down, creating a list. Another thing I see a lot is something that I kind of did a lot as well, and I think a lot of artists is where they have this kind of, they get angry at each other. I can't think of the word. They're kind of just upset with each other because they can't create that song. Like rap experts say that in order to overcome writer's block, you have to get rid of that annoying voice in your head that says you're not good enough. It's like self-belief is the word I'm kind of looking for. Getting self-belief, you kind of have to believe that you're going to make it. You have to believe that your songs are going to be great. You need to remove that inner hate that you have and that struggle. If you don't remove that lack of self-belief, you'll never get over that rap block and writer's block. You have to have that confidence. And going back to point 1 where I was talking about creating concepts or finding songs that inspire you in the first place, those kind of things help you kind of, like, sometimes I know I'm a hip-hop beat maker, but sometimes I can't put like 2 notes together and I can't put 2 chords together, and I just think everything sounds horrible. But I do notice that if I put on like Night Wonder making a beat, or if I put on like Jamie Woon in studio, or any kind of like these kind of artists in a studio, or J. Cole in a studio making beats, these videos on YouTube, they really kind of make me believe, oh, he's just a regular guy in a studio making beats. And then I kind of lose that kind of that disability that I have when I think I'm not good enough, or that lack of self-belief, and I actually have more confidence in my abilities. Like sometimes if you're starting off, you probably don't have that confidence because you don't have that experience. But after you continually every year keep practicing all the time, keep doing your exercises, keep putting out mixtapes, keep learning your music promotion, you will kind of learn from those experiences. And good song, when you create those good songs, you'll always love that euphoria of that moment when you create a good song. Like nothing can beat that, when you have that whole song finished and you just go, yeah, this one is just a good song. Sometimes you know when you've created a song it's okay, you like the story, but it's just not connecting with you as much as you'd like. But there is times where you create that epic song and you just go, yes. And you should always kind of keep and favor those moments, because they're so important for the rest of your career. Even like, I remember like I use Kid Cudi or J. Cole and all them. They use like the smaller moments in their careers, not like when they're playing Madison Square Garden or something like that. They use those really small moments in their careers as like big innovators for their raps and stuff like that. Remember like Kid Cudi talking about like saying that he's like stuff like when he just got signed with Jay-Z or with Kanye West and all that. He said like there was a time there where he hadn't like $50 in his pocket, but he was going to fly down to Hawaii to record. So like those kind of funny moments are so integral to kind of creating that happiness, that perfect environment for creating a rap song. So self-belief is so important, guys. Don't forget that one. And it's time to put aside, even if you don't believe you're good enough, just put it aside and just try anyway. So that's an important point. This is something that I do a lot, and I'm guilty of it, and sometimes I'm kind of guilty of it for taking it too long. One point that I kind of stress to people is to take a break. Sometimes you just can't force something, you know what I mean? Sometimes if you force it, maybe if you haven't worked for a long while, it's not forcing it, it's just attempting something. But if you've been like creating an album and you've written like 10 great songs and you have to create 3 more, or you're creating a mixtape and you have to create 3 more or something like that, or you just can't, or if you're collaborating with someone, you can't come up with those lyrics at that time, do not force it. Take a break. Go get out of the room, get away from the kind of whole creating a music thing. Watch your favorite TV shows. The reason why we watch like entertainment and read books or play video games is so we don't go nuts. We like, even when we're creating rap songs and stuff like that, and we're creating music, it's kind of work, and it does have its ups and downs. Sometimes we can be really have those euphoria moments, and sometimes we can have these really dark depression periods where we don't think we're good enough. So take a break. This doesn't mean you're not going to do it anymore. It's okay to take like 5 to 10 minute breaks, or take like the day off and then come back another day. Once you go back to writing rap lyrics again, you feel refreshed. Sometimes rap writer's block just happens. It happens like what I said. It's like a disconnect from the source. It's like it's because your mind is so preoccupied. That's why sometimes you could create a better song after you've watched a TV show, or you've read a book or something like that, or you've gone for a walk, or you've hung around with friends. Sometimes like I'd go off for the weekend with some friends and just hang around with them and not make beats, not talk about hip-hop music, or not been playing the piano all the time. This is what I think you need to do sometimes. I think you should know yourself when maybe you've kind of exhausted your abilities at that moment, and you're just not going to create something that you want to hear. So sometimes you might even just have to go to sleep and just like forget about it and wake up the next day and see if you can do it. It's good to take notes before you leave that thing. So if you've created a song, maybe write down some notes about what you think you like, what kind of ideas you could do with it, and then leave it, and then come back to those notes. So it kind of gives you just that kind of instant kind of refresh of what you actually did in the first place. I noticed that another thing is that artists that kind of just use free writing as well, and it's not just like for novelists. It's kind of one of the best tools you can get to cut corners on times when you're stuck. It's like you might take a few minutes to write down what comes to your mind. Don't worry about punctuation, grammar, or neatness. The key is to just get some kind of words on a page, so the next time when you come back to those raps, you might like have something there in your arsenal, so you can write a rap the next time, or you can finish the song that you've created in the first place. So that was point 3, guys. The fourth point is to don't limit yourself. And another great tip is like you can follow, but don't be too serious. And if you forget the importance of why you're expressing yourself, it's important to put emotion into your rap songs. So like when you're kind of creating like rap lyrics and stuff like that, you kind of have to find a way to be to connect with the audience. But I always say, like, it comes back to my point of, if you can't think of a moment in time where it's happened to you, maybe you can take it from the perspective of someone else. Maybe you can find friends who are going through a difficult period. So maybe a friend is in trouble, maybe a friend is getting kicked out of school, some kind of concepts like that. Maybe you can take and ask them about it, and then kind of jot down some notes. You don't have to say their name in the song so you don't embarrass them, but you can, even though you can still put emotion in it because they're your friends, or they're people you look up to or something like that, and you can still put emotion into those raps by basing it on someone else's story as well. But you don't always, like I was talking a while ago, my example was that Biggie wrote songs about stories he heard on the streets. And a lot of hip-hop artists, not every kind of bad thing happened to them. A lot of the time they can write about something else as well. So in other words, you just have to remove any kind of writing restrictions. Let yourself go and allow yourself to write what's really on your mind and in that moment in time. This kind of leads into my fifth point. These kind of points are kind of very amalgamated, so I kind of go on to the next one as well. But try and look for inspiration. Sometimes rappers base songs on their own experience, others kind of take them from other people and other kind of stories that they've heard of or their friends. But one of the techniques you can do to overcome writer's block is it could be like a current situation, it can be creative experiences, it could be like maybe songs you've heard. Maybe a good thing to do is go out and listen to some beats. Do you know what I mean? A lot of the time artists kind of say that the beat kind of gave them the idea in the first place. I always say, like, go back and look at those videos. Do what I do. I always go to kind of other videos on YouTube, and I love these kind of in the studio videos. Like, listen to like J. Cole in studio, listen to Kid Cudi talking about rap songs, listen to Jay-Z talking about how he created a rap, all those kind of documentary kind of stuff. This is kind of cool content behind creating the music, and I really love that. I really find that listening to those kind of documentaries and those kind of behind the scenes kind of things really motivates me. Maybe it's not perfect kind of for everybody else, but for me it's one of the most important things, and it really gets me going. Some people like to write music in the background, while others kind of find it very distracting. Either way, take a step back from writing for a few minutes, play some music, and then like maybe kind of like classic rap beats, the old kind of boom bap kind of rap beats can really spark your interest in something. Let the sounds carry you away from the physical space. When you've listened to a couple of songs, get back to your writing and newly refreshed. Spotify has kind of some kind of classic hip-hop beats and stuff like that, and maybe kind of finding simple kind of boom bap beats to rap over in the first place can really kind of get you going. And then maybe if you have kind of more kind of complicated hip-hop beats, you might be able to find what you're looking for and find the topics and the way you want to write that rap song in the first place. And finally, I think this is a really important one, this last one, and this is why I kind of get annoyed when I see like hip-hop artists with their phone out and stuff like that all the time, or they're kind of worried about their jewelry and the clothes that they wear, even though hip-hop and clothing and all that is kind of tied in together. I think when you're kind of creating kind of content and creating you shouldn't be worried about that stuff. So eliminating distractions is the final point. And it's important to kind of remind yourself to be comfortable and peaceful in your environment. Like, if there's people in the studio with you and they're annoying you, just kick them out. Just have you and the engineer. That's all you need. And there's no need of having like a bunch of people inside in the studio that are just not helping. If they're in there giving you ideas, giving you motivation, then keep them around. But like a lot of the time you see a lot of people just in there eating, drinking, smoking, doing absolutely nothing. And these people can be just really create a really bad environment for creating a good rap song. But if you've got good engineers around you, or good kind of ghostwriters or something like that, or anyone's that's there that's just kind of giving you a hand with creating the creative process. Keep them around. They're worth having around. They will kind of motivate you to be a better hip-hop artist. Block on Facebook while you're trying to get in that creative process, and only use it after a certain time. So if you rap from 9 to 6 and you're writing raps, maybe after 6 you can work on Facebook and play with Facebook to kind of entertain yourself and get you away from that creative process. Another good thing is to get rid of your cell phones and stuff like that, because if someone's ringing you every 2 minutes when you're trying to be in that moment of creating a rap song, it will completely disengage you from the source and what you've actually created. And I just talked about, when I said the first point of writing down lists, that kind of creating a process, creating all those lists kind of gets you in that creative process. And if you have someone kind of distracting you in that moment or time, you will lose that connection to the source. So it's important that you constantly keep the experience in that kind of mode, and push all these kind of other kind of things that I've talked about, distractions, out of the way. Keep people around you that are good for you, and keep those kind of people, and keep looking for inspiration from videos and stuff like that. Sometimes a great idea is just to kind of keep a pen handy at sometimes, and make sure you're writing it down, not typing it into your phone, because I don't think you get the same kind of experience you do when you kind of write it down. Always kind of little paper and a pen, because this is your instrument. This is the kind of thing that you need to build, because if you're trying to rap all the time or trying to write raps all the time, having that kind of little your own self-made dictionary of creating words and rhymes and flows and stuff like that, or stuff that just topics and stuff like that, kind of builds that arsenal of kind of stuff that you need. Like sometimes when I can't create beats, a lot of the times is I'll just kind of put some kits together, maybe make a beat and just not maybe even use that beat, but I just still have that kit. So that kit, let's say if I was inspired by like a Drake type beat, I might create a song, and if I don't like the beat, I'll delete the beat, but I'll save the actual drums that I use in that song. So I have a kit, and I'll give it a name, and it will I might name it after a song that I've been inspired by. So if it was inspired by, started from the bottom, or if it was started from like a Kendrick Lamar song or anything like that, I would name it that after that beat, so I would have that idea of what I was trying to create at that time. And it's the same with you guys when you're rapping or when you're writing songs. So don't be discouraged when you actually suffer from this kind of stuff, guys. Writer's block is not an easy thing to overcome. I understand that, and I've dealt with it, and you're probably going to deal with it after, even if you watch this video. This video, I always say that these videos are not going to give you, don't take them like as gospel, like I've done all these steps and I'm still suffering from writer's block. Like I said, take a break if you just really can't get through it. Take a break, sleep on it, but take some notes before you take that break. Just take some notes on what you've done. A lot of the time, it's just kind of coming back to building something, coming back to it, building something, coming back to it. I always kind of create these videos just for anyone who's stuck. That's why I'm creating these videos. It's just because a lot of the time I kind of get these questions asked and all the time. So I kind of want these kind of videos are kind of becoming my FAQ page on my site. So if anyone goes, Dan, I can't create a chorus for a rap song, I don't know how, or Dan, I'm dealing with writer's block all the time, I can't seem to get rid of it, send them to these videos, and hopefully, I'd see before I used to kind of just email them back, and I just don't think anyone kind of really kind of connected with the big long email. So I do have a blog post. There's going to be show notes and stuff like that with these kind of posts, but I think it's the audio kind of feel. Even if I'm recording this in April in 2016, I feel like someone who can find this video in 2017, they might still feel like I'm speaking to them, or feel that I can just give them that little bit of inspiration, or to make them feel comfortable within their writer's block or within their lack of creative moments, and let them know that everyone actually goes through this. You're probably going to go through it again, but to take inspiration from the stuff you've done before, from the people that are good around you, from the notes that you take, from the times that you've created actual good content, from your own experiences and stuff like that. So it's really important to learn that kind of stuff, guys. So this was Dan from the Corporate Thief Beats. Thanks for listening to the video, guys. I've got another one coming up after this one, so don't forget to like and subscribe. Take care, guys.